Hi, this is Travis in the Uncanny Valley. I'm wanting to go over just kind of figuring out what's working. So I've been thinking about different things that are uh, working, uh, one topic or one symptom at a time, or one instant where I might have an interaction that goes really well, where I maybe had anxiety about it or would have had anxiety about it, and it was able to go really well, um, for completely different reasons than it would have in years prior. In years prior, it would have just been because um, it would have gone well because it was so rehearsed on my part, or I was really um, in the moment, but only with my scripted responses and really paying attention to nonverbal things and not necessarily healthy reasons. So now I'm having healthy interactions because I'm actually taking um, my struggles into account and my deficiencies into account, and um, leaving room for the accommodations I need, and still, because of those things, able to have healthy interactions. So um, I just wanted to go over something, and kind of just an overview of my life as far as how that's progressed. So large social gatherings is what I picked. So as a kid, so in childhood, large social gatherings weren't really a thing. Um, Church was the largest social gathering, and I knew of most of those people, so there wasn't really, there was a sense of sameness from week to week, and there wasn't really cause for much anxiety because I had the rooms I went to for the different things, and it was very much structured, um, and school. I went to a small school, and um, the anxiety was about going from one class one year to a new class the next year and having a new teacher, and then looking forward to the anxiety of in seventh grade when you would have multiple teachers and go from building to building. But even then, it was a small school, so it was the same group of students until eighth grade. And I went from a school, K through 12 school of 500, to an eighth grade of 500. So seventh and eighth grade was 1,000 kids, and that was a crazy amount of anxiety, and just, yeah. So every day was was very intense, and I didn't have any friends or talk to anyone outside of class um, for a long time. So that was not really that was intense. But as far as like social gatherings, large social gatherings, yeah, I mean, we might go to the state fair or the county fair, but there really wasn't anything that we did. Uh, we were pretty much homebodies. So when I moved out on my own and started going to things, and realizing the freedoms that I had as an adult, and I could just want to do something and then just go do it. So that was freeing, and I was being a loner, or whatever, pick the adjective of whatever it was that I was characterized as. I was comfortable in that. So like I would go to eat by myself at a restaurant, and I would go to um, a festival or a fair uh, by myself. It was a non-issue. So that precluded the any stressors around um, coordinating how the event would go, as far as like when you would get there, how long you would stay, what you would do while you're there. That could comfortably be on the fly. I could just get there and then just leave if I wanted to. So as I started to, as an adult, go to these kinds of things, I got married and had kids, and uh, that whole dynamic changes because you're going with multiple people to large public gatherings. And I was not yet in tune with the severity of my sensory needs. So I was aware of, I was only aware of the stress that would result from it, and that it would be overwhelming, and that I would um, respond in unhealthy ways. Like I would get upset, or um, I would knowingly be pushed beyond my capacity as a person. So like I would not be able to endure even a small social gathering. If there's 20 people at a party, and we're going to be there for an unknown number of hours, and there is no agreed upon time to leave, or if there is an agreed upon time to leave, that comes and goes, and it's just expected that I can uh, as an introvert who needs to be alone to recharge, it is just expected that I can, um, in an environment that is continually draining me, that I can endure endlessly, or well beyond my capacity to endure. So I didn't know how to deal with my um, social anxieties and my sensory issues and any of that stuff. So the way it used to be is that um, I would need the event details, so I could pre-plan, and I would or would not get those, and I would know that wherever it is that I could go off to myself, or either outside or in some room with no one in it, and get a 5 minute recharge, or a 15 minute. No, I don't know about that long, but like a 5 or 10 minute by myself, as many times as was socially acceptable, without being, uh, you know, whatever, without comments. And but I didn't maintain my boundaries because I didn't really have boundaries. Like I didn't know about boundaries as a thing until like maybe the last year, and then the boundaries weren't. Uh, it was really kind of a learning process of what boundaries should be, and whether they should be around you or the other person. And so like I was realizing that a lot of the boundaries that I was coming up against were were around me, whereas that's not where other people's boundaries should be. Other people's boundaries should be around themselves, and so that was part of the struggle. Is that um, I would feel justified by my meltdowns and my outbursts and being overwhelmed, simply because I knew it was going to happen, because I knew more was going to be expected of me than I was capable of, and I didn't know what was wrong with me. So like I thought something was wrong with me. I mean, I've thought something was wrong with me since I was 5, but I didn't know. Uh, well, I didn't think anything was wrong with me per se, but like I knew that's the way I might have characterized it. At different points, I knew something was different. And anyways, so what I've been doing recently is I still communicate my needs. I still communicate that I need event details for a number of reasons that I've discussed in a different video um, when event plans change. But I've been getting those details, so that's been helpful. Like I've been uh, actually able to get the event details, able to do the things that my mind needs to do or surrounding the event. Um, create the plan, stick with the plan. That's been a big thing is when there's a plan that was thrown out the window because it was maybe viewed that I just needed the plan. I didn't need to stick with the plan. But I did need the plan. I did need to stick with the plan. The plan was there for a reason, not just something to feel good about. Like I needed it to actually be followed through with. So there was an event last a week ago where it was a very large social gathering. It was maybe a couple thousand people there, and you know the details were known to me. Um, I knew the location, so I could picture a lot of it, um, enough of it. Uh, I knew it would be loud. Oh yes, hold on. I knew it would be loud, and so I had my earplugs and wore my earplugs most of the time. I needed breaks, and I took breaks. One of them was like 10 minutes to just leave the facility and go back to the vehicle and get more coffee, and come back and and I wasn't made to feel like my needs were a burden, and I wasn't made to feel like I was a burden for having needs, and that was huge. Um, but the takeaway is that accommodations might be frustrating. Like the fact that people need accommodations might be frustrating, and the person you might associate that with the person and think of them as frustrating. But I promise, um, I'm not being difficult. If I need accommodations, um, if I say it, it's because I need it, and I'm not being difficult. I have difficulties. That's a distinction that's key because if you personalize it and make it that I'm being difficult, then that affects the relationship. But if you're able to view it that I'm experiencing difficulties and I don't have to experience difficulties if it can be um, if those accommodations can be kind of respected as actual needs. Um, but yeah, I took it was with my earplugs in, it was still way too loud. And uh, even while mildly disassociating, it was just more, the noise level was crazy loud. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to take an audio recording. So uh, here's just a short clip um, on my phone. So yeah, it was just like for, 5 hours of that, of just hundreds and hundreds of people and kids and just craziness and yeah. So yeah, hopefully this has been helpful.